Today I'm going to show you how to make a hot oil herb extraction as opposed to the cold process we've shown you recently. Hello again, herb lovers, it's Toni here from Life, Love and Lettuce. Let's get into this hot oil extraction. So the reason we're doing a hot oil extraction today is because we are using a fresh herb. We've just picked some oregano from the garden. We've left it to wilt a little, which is a good thing to do if you're going to put herbs in oil. And I'm now just going to chop it up a little so that we can expose more of the essential oils in the herb to the oil that we're going to extract them into. I'm going to pop my fresh herb in a pot, and what I have here is another pot because what we're going to do is use a double boiler method because we don't want to fry our herb in oil. What we want to do is gently extract the properties from the herb like we did with the sun method, but we're going to do that in a much quicker way by exposing the oil to heat, but not enough heat that it's going to cause the herbs to fry. So to do that, we use a water bath, which is another pot that is going to go directly on the stove that we're going to put this pot inside of. So let's get our oil onto our herb. Doesn't matter how much you use, you know I'm not good on measurements. You're just going to cover your herb with the oil. And you'll be surprised how much oil it takes actually to cover your herb. So there we are. We've got a nice coverage of oil there, and now we're going to move to the stove and I'm going to show you how hot you want to get your water and how your oil's going to start reacting once it's inside of the heated water. Put your pot on the stove. Make sure that there's plenty of water in your pot because your herbs are going to be inside of this pot for quite some time. If you have a wooden peg or a chopstick, you can always put that inside the pot of water to hold the pot that's holding the herbs up off the bottom. I don't actually worry about that because I don't find that it's a problem with the amount of herb oil that I'm making. Look for when you find bubbles in the water. When the water starts to get bubbles, it means that it's hot and it's very close to boiling. So turn the heat down at this point. Then put your pot of herbs and oil inside of the pot on the stove. Now, you're going to want to take a chopstick or something else wooden so you can stir the herbs in the oil as the oil begins to warm. This is a long process, even though it's much faster than the sun process. It can take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half, dependent upon what herbs you're trying to extract into your oil. This method will work for any herb that is fresh. Pop back, keep checking for the amount of extraction in the herb into the oil. You can do this by picking up the herb on the chopstick. As your herb is extracting into the oil, it's going to start to change colour. The oil is going to start taking on the colour of the herb, and you'll know when your herbs have been extracting in the oil long enough because you'll be able to tell from the smell of them. You can also let a little bit of the oil cool and you can do a taste test. But really, after 45 minutes to nearly an hour, your herb is going to be well extracted into your oil. Once you've got your hot oil off the stove, you can leave it to cool or you can strain it while it's still warm. But if you choose to strain it while it's warm, obviously be very careful because you are dealing with hot oil. So I've got my heat-proof jug here and my handy little strainer. And I'm going to very carefully pour my hot oil and my herb into the strainer, and you can see the change in colour in the oil. I always think it's amazing. Then I'm going to take my wooden spoon and just give it a little press because you'll be amazed how much oil is still in the herb, and it's always good to get that last residue of goodness from the herbs out, and the oil has extracted all the goodness of the herb. The herb actually looks really washed out. If you have a look at it, I don't know if you can tell from here, but it has completely changed colour really from when we put it in here. It looks very spent, and there will be no waste. This will go out into our compost heap. And what we have now is a wonderful and so aromatic oil that we can use the same way we'd use oil for anything. It can go in a dressing, it can be used to cook food, however you want to use it. So what I'll do now is I'll just pop that into another amber bottle, because we like to keep the light away from our oils, because light is very degrading to oils, and it's that easy to make a wonderful herbal oil. And I'm looking forward to hearing what herbs you're going to put in your oil and how you're going to use them. Love and lettuce, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.